got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that, spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past and the pettiness. A reflection of the emptiness, hilarious. You think you're worth my time, you're delirious, mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah. Now that I've been put through, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this,
good morning
and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness.
I apologize for us getting started late this morning. So there's a couple things happened. I woke up at 5 and then I said, I'm not getting up at 5. So I went back to sleep, but my wife's out of town. So I slept late. I got up at about 6:10. And then I was like, that's enough time. I went and took a shower and I went downstairs to get coffee. Deacon's signaling me here. I'm looking for something. Oh, you got it. Yeah, here you go, Deacon. Is that what you wanted? Make sure you're not. Yeah, okay. So I went downstairs to get coffee. I forgot to make coffee last night. My wife's out of town. My wife. Oh, no. Now Deacon. Now I don't hear Deacon again. Hey, switch mics. Here, I'm gonna. Okay, does your phone mic work? I just switched you. I'm not hearing it. All right, let me turn this audio track off. Okay, boys and girls, we got gremlins, audio gremlins happening at Restream.io right now. We don't understand what's going on. I went down, I made my coffee, I came up here, I stuck this thing. I can't hear Deacon. Then I restart my computer, and now I can hear stuff, and now he can't hear me for some reason.
No, I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear you. Okay, so your cell phone seems to be sending audio, but your laptop is not. Oh, no, hold on.
No.
Okay.
No, mute. Keep the cell phone mute.
Keep the cell phone mute. Okay, well, your Chromebook has no audio. No, I can't hear you. Yeah, same thing. Hey, reboot that thing. That's what I did. I don't know.
I have. That's what I'm trying to fix right now. But I keep hearing this phone and not this audio.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Well, it's just wacky stuff. And we have so much to talk about this morning. We can't be messing around with audio gremlins. Oh, man. So thank you for showing up. Whoever you are, throw something in the chat so we know who you are, which one of you it is.
I can hear you, but I hear myself echoing, and it's very distracting.
Yeah, right. So you can hear me on the, but your audio's not coming out on the Chromebook. I don't know. I have no idea.
No, I'm hearing. This is the Chromebook.
Yeah.
This is just, I'm hearing you through the phone now. Yeah. I've got you muted on the phone, or I've got you turned way down on the phone. I'm just hearing myself echo through the Chromebook, and it's right. I can't talk. It's driving me crazy.
There's this app I've heard before where you plug in your phone and headphones or whatever, and what it does is it takes whatever you say and it delays it by a microsecond.
Don't worry about all that crap.
You start talking, and then like you start hearing yourself off track, and you start talking slower and slower.
That's a radio problem. It's been for a long time, man. When you between you talking at a live spot, and if you have a radio on your station, other than feedback, you got to get away because you'll cause an audio feedback loop. But there is a slight delay, and you start listening to yourself, not through your head, through your ears, but you start listening to the audio coming out of the speakers. And since it's delayed, that's why you start talking slow, because you're listening to and that's what I'm hearing today. That crap happens in radio all the time. It used to happen all the time. So I'm just going to, is this cool if we do it this way?
It's fine with me. Yeah, it's fine with me. And I don't think it's going to bother anybody. Other than it looks like my icon is your name.
Well, I can actually change that.
Yeah. This is fine because I want you to be able to pick up some of these stories if you want on your own. But I've got a big stack here. But I want to hold the coup de grace, the D&D. I want to hold that till closer to the end. Okay, so do you have any preferences of stories that we jump into? Because yesterday was day one of San Diego Comic-Con, and I wouldn't say good morning, Colin with a beard. I would not say that there was like earth-shattering stuff, but there was definitely some stuff that I was like, oh, that's fun. That looks fun. So I want to hold the D&D stuff a little bit. But aside from that, I know we both dropped some stories in the hopper, and I am ready to.
I don't even remember what I dropped in there.
You did some stuff with people making life choices. You did some stuff with people making life choices.
I was dropping those in there. Those are kind of. We don't have to read those, but those are always.
Let's hit some of these fast.
Yeah. Okay. No, you don't have those ones that I dropped in. You don't have to read those at all. Those are just generic stories we can pop in whenever.
I'm gonna just throw the whole screen at it. And hey, when we get down to the D&D stuff, remind me to put the audio back in. Okay. All right. So let's start with this one. What is going on here? Robot dog with a machine gun. Hints of a dystopian future. What is this? While Boston Dynamics shows off their robot dance moves, some others have turned similar-looking devices into dystopian killing machines. Somebody out there thinks it's a good idea to put guns on a robot. Have they not ever seen a movie? This
was coming. You knew this was coming.
What are you doing, you dummies? As soon as the AI is like, the way to save humanity is to make sure there's less humans.
As soon as Skynet goes online.
They're trying to make Terminator happen. This is crazy.
Is this a good idea or is it a bad idea? Technically. Honestly.
All right, so let's weigh our options. Arm humans and send them into combat zones and, cause wanton destruction. Arm robots and send them into combat zones and cause
not that question. That's an obvious question. My
Stay
question
out of
is,
wars.
do we put robots armed with guns guarding individual places? Not going to war, guarding individual places.
What do you mean? Like
have you seen the video? Watch the video of that.
Is there a video?
No, there should have been.
One here?
Yeah, okay. It's just it marching around and shooting.
I'm gonna have to. To share audio. I'm gonna have to.
Okay.
Let me swap real quick.
When you do that, I'll just mute.
No. Don't. No, I can just do the browser. So let me do the Edge tab. Here, I can just do it this way. Okay, you're good. You don't have to mute. Here we go. What is this?
Dynamics show off their robots' dance moves. Others turn similar-looking devices into dystopian killing machines. Much like their flesh-made cousins, robot dogs do not lack attention on the internet. Many have seen the footage of Spot, a high-tech quadruped developed by the US-based company Boston Dynamics, flaunting its dance moves. However, the latest addition to the robot dog content stream looks like something out of a science fiction movie. Twitter user Sean Chiplock
Gatling
shared
gun
a
on
video
Roombas,
of someone in
says
Russia
Colin with a
firing a
beard.
gun from a quadruped robot. While the robot doesn't seem to handle recoil very well with the gun on burst fire mode, switching to a semi-automatic setting allows the robot to hit targets without moving around too much. Even though
look at that. A robot already figured out what leftists can't figure out, which is that automatic weapons are not the the magic wand of the devil that kills everything. It makes you inaccurate. If you want to be accurate with your shot, switch to semi-auto, take your time.
That's what I was fixing to say. Yeah, you couldn't fire it semi-auto. Only the first couple of shots, maybe the first 2 shots would hit their target.
That thing auto. I mean,
and even watching that whole video, and I watched the whole thing of that thing shooting several targets, and it has to stabilize itself. And after, it only shoots a couple of shots. It's just burst. And it shoots 4 or 5 at this one point, and you've seen its back legs kind of have to go back and stabilize itself after about the 4th shot, which is, it's logical. But, my problem is, that
I can't get
that like drug dealers and these rich people in other countries in Mexico and all wherever they are, that if this technology if we're watching it, then it's being utilized.
Eventually something like this gonna happen, and it's making me think of something. So I'm looking it up real quick to make sure we have the next version of this. Let's see.
Ed 2000 from RoboCop.
Yes. How do you know what I'm thinking?
I can read your brain, man.
I'm like, it's dogs with guns now, and soon it's going to be
Ed 2000.
ED 2000. How come I can't find it? I can't find a picture of ED 2000.
That thing was awesome.
I mean, that's what I want to see. I mean, and I would still be like, don't do this. This is a bad idea, guys. Well, I can't find. Maybe if I did.
Watch it. Yeah, I can't either. There it is.
There it is. I found it. Here it is. This is the next future. Oh, and now I'm in. Here we go. Boston Dynamics. Get your notes right. This is what you're supposed to be making. A chicken walking ED 2000. And then you put it on street corners and you tell people not to jaywalk.
I don't understand why we don't have huge mech suits that we pilot and walk around yet. I mean, why aren't we watching footage of the war going on with like a bunch of Ukrainians piloting these big 12-foot tall mech suits walking around?
And Russia being like, what did we get?
We can make it.
Why did we do this? So
that would be so awesome.
Good job, Boston Dynamics, making dancing robots, putting guns on them. Somebody's got some ideas over there. All right. Let's talk about poor life choices. Let's talk about some people's poor life choices, sir. Maybe you can explain this to me because this just isn't my thing.
Well, if you wait a minute, hang on. Before you put those up there, these are the ones that are just kind of generic things that I was like, we can read these at any time when we don't have any stories. So if we're cutting it close today, we can skip to some of these other stuff that you have.
All right.
Because even this other one about the psychic is, I mean, it's supposed to be at the end of this year, but it was pretty interesting that I found.
We lost a couple of our viewers, but that's okay. We'll maybe we'll hold off on this on commenting on this person. Not understand why he can't get a real job. there's some of those. All right. So yesterday morning, I saw this up on Bounding into Comics, which is not NewsGuard certified. Excuse me, but that's weird slang for a moment. So there was a rumor running into San Diego Comic-Con that there would maybe an announcement of a restored Snyderverse, and it could be made at Comic-Con. And of course, you have the Zack Snyder stands or possibly bots. If you watched yesterday's episode, that are just just begging DC, bring back the Snyderverse. And most of us are like, no, it wasn't that great. So there's a big rumor about announcement of a Snyderverse. But it turns out, I believe, that Jim Lee himself dispensed with that rumor altogether. So DC's Jim Lee has confirmed yesterday there's no plan for Zack Snyder or the Snyderverse to return. Quote, this is reported on comicbook.com. Jim Lee, legendary comic book artist and CCO of DC Comics, confirms there are no plans for Zack Snyder to return to the Snyderverse or for the Snyderverse to continue, from One Take News. So, according to our sources on the scene, the Snyderverse is a kaput. So we'll see if this changes. And then I know we talked yesterday about Zack Snyder potentially having benefited from literally robots on the internet trying to make his movie universe happen.
Okay, I'm back.
Hey, read this for a second, Deacon, and tell me what you think. I'm going to take this phone call from my wife.
Oh, I don't. Oh, I guess he told me to entertain for a second. I'm sorry. We're both at work, or I'm at work, and so
my wife called, but she couldn't find the show for some reason. I don't know. I think that's her that just got in. Okay, so all right. So we haven't really discussed a whole lot about what's going on in the last 5. I mean, a little bit. We've only had the show on for a week or two. This sort of thing has been happening for a little while. I don't know, Deacon. Do you know the character Iceman? Iceman from the X-Men.
From X-Men.
Yeah. And a couple
years
years ago, it was a big hullabaloo because Marvel decided, it turns out this whole time X-Men
that Bobby was gay. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then I don't know if you've heard, but Robin from Batman and Robin, he's actually bisexual now, and basically every other it's not even every other month, but it turns out a character that you thought was just the character that you read growing up, turns out that they're gay or bisexual or something like that. And this broke on the 20th, so 2 days ago. Marvel Comics makes yet another sexuality swap, confirms that Rachel Summers and Psylocke as a bisexual couple in latest issue of Knights of X. So, do you buy your kids comics?
Do I?
Yeah.
No, I barely buy comics myself anymore, dude.
Right. Is this the kind of sort of stuff that you would?
I don't.
It's
I don't.
It's not a big deal, but why is this a thing? Why aren't they fighting monsters?
Because that is not what the stories are about these days. Things have changed. Time has moved on, JJ. There are more things. There are different things to worry about. And even though me and you don't think that there is, I'm trying to accept that there is.
Sure.
So I never really liked the love stories in comic books. That just wasn't the thing that I didn't get. X-Men were my thing.
It used to be a whole genre, though. Romance stories were a whole genre,
right,
and if you wanted romance stories, hey, there was romance comics, and if you wanted,
well, I was going to say, X-Men were my thing, and even the Scott Summers and Jean Grey Logan romance, that was kind of. That didn't do anything for me.
There it is.
I didn't care. Scott and Jean love each other. Okay, that comes up with a couple of good storylines that you can always do, the damsel in distress, or you can always tell a story about love. Okay, that's very easy to tell a story if you've got two lovers, because you can always put in the third person like Logan, all kinds of stuff.
And you can make drama and stuff like that. But that's the thing. This isn't about tell those stories. This is a stunt. And Marvel and DC pull this same stunt all the time, and they try to.
They can't sell books. They don't sell books like they did anymore, and they can't sell physical and digital books. In today's society, my daughter said something the other day because we were watching something on TV, and she's 17, and it was just me and her, and we were watching something on TV, and it was something lewd that was said or something, and I just it was kind of. And she, we got to get into I don't remember how the conversation started, but I remember her saying, times have changed. And I had to realize, oh man, unfortunately times have changed. It's not like it was anymore. So if this is what's going to sell them books, if this is what they think is going to sell them books, hey, good luck.
I mean, good luck.
I don't care if it's 2 girls, 2 boys, a boy and a girl. I don't care. That kind of story does not interest me. And to be honest, to be an X-Men fan for so long, I'm so sick of the damn X-Men that they have gone so off the wall with their stories over the years because they've only been able to tell like 1 or 2 stories. So they've had to go completely off the wall. And I'm so sick of the damn X-Men stories anymore that I wouldn't care if they did come up with something completely different. Like, I think do we have the story about them changing their name?
Oh, which one was the change in the name?
I thought that the X-Men movie wasn't going to be called X-Men. It was going to be called The Mutants or Mutants.
Oh, I hadn't heard that yet. I mean, so I'm sure that Mutants movies are, X something movies are in development. But as far as I'm aware, the
I can't believe that they're not
the Marvels Ms. Marvel TV show is the first canonical mutant in the MCU, they said she's a mutant of some kind. It was in the show. A boy. I don't even know the boy. You watched so who was the boy in that show? And how did he know anything about DNA or mutations?
They're from another universe.
Oh,
they're from Yeah, it's a really good show. I mean, it's a good show. Miss Marvel is a good show, and people want to hate on it. They can. I enjoyed it immensely. I didn't just was like, oh, that was okay. I really enjoyed it.
So I don't have it on hand at the moment. But my point about this wasn't like how outrageous is this. It was like Marvel and DC this is a stunt to sell books because they can't sell books. And this stunt won't work. And in fact, it drives away old customers. But they don't care about old customers because I'm not sure why. But
old customers are probably not buying them anyway. I mean, you're not buying it anyway. We just I'm not buying it. I'm just complaining.
Yeah, right. At this point, I'm complaining and I'm spending money on other stuff. Like I just got this yesterday, Jawbreaker's Grand Design. This arrived in the mail last night. It came with like some awesome dog tags. I don't know why you did that.
I wasn't trying to do that.
So
I was trying to see what you were holding up.
Oh, here. If I swap here.
Yeah, I can't see anything. Oh,
wait. Is that the right one? No, that's the old one. I don't know where I put it. I got another Jawbreakers book in. This is the old one, but it came with like a poster and some dog tags and some cool stuff. I can't believe I did that. All right. Anyway, so yeah, that's true. I'm not buying these books anyway, but I used to buy these books. I used to buy X-Men books like they used to come out every other week, and I used to buy tons of them.
Scroll up because that splash page wasn't. It wasn't a. Or here? Scroll down.
Oh, this.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it wasn't a bad looking artwork.
Sure, it's fine. I guess.
Who drew it?
Variant cover by Philippe Massafera. Anyway, so
easy for you to say.
So I don't know, but
whatever. I don't care. I'm not buying the book.
It's just, but you know what it is? I'm also a parent now. I wasn't a parent before. I'm a parent now. And now when I see stuff like this, I'm like, I'm not interested. I don't care. I'm not interested. I don't care. But now I'm like, I'm not interested. I don't care. And I'm going to be a lot more critical about what I allow my kids to, interact with as far as it's my control. Anyway, maybe, but here's the other point. American comic books are losing crazy amounts of revenue. That 2 years ago there was something like 220 million in revenue in American comic books. That's excluding manga. And last year there was something like 169. So it's lost like 40-60% of American comic books. But Marvel, DC, and all the people that work in this industry will continue to say like, oh, the industry's bigger than ever. It's 1.2 billion, except it's 1.2 billion of Dogman and Captain Underpants and a bunch of manga stuff. So like, yeah. So like, oh, sure, the industry's doing good for young adult readers and for anime, Japan import stuff, but the stuff that I actually cared about, which is American comics, is going down the drain. They can't find an audience anymore.
I was in the freaking I was in the bookstore a couple of weeks ago and just had some time to kill. And I started looking around some of the old book genres that I went through. And I found a bunch of Dungeons and Dragons fantasy kids teen books. That were the size of those Dogman and all those books, Captain Underpants. They're all the one size. It's a bigger than a paperback. It's smaller than a hardback, you know what I mean? And it was those kid size. It's kid friendly for kid hands. That's why they're that size. Yeah. And I saw them for Dungeons and Dragons and I was like, oh man, really? Why didn't I think of this? Because I write a little bit too. I don't write a lot. Now I don't write a lot anymore, but I did at one point. And I thought, man, this would be great. It would be very easy for me to write a Dungeons and Dragons mission, for a kid and make it a story. So that was a brilliant idea. I think that's great that they're doing stuff like this for kids. But what were you?
Yeah. So there's a kind of not far off of from what you're saying is a series of books that I bought Dogman and Investigators for my kids.
Yeah, I bought one for Deacon read one, and Alex read me and Alex started reading when he was younger, The Last Kids on Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were good. Those were actually pretty good. They had a Netflix cartoon that was pretty good.
My daughters are 3 and 4 right now. They're about to be 4 and 5. And the size and format you're talking about that's what these are. So these are the latest books that they're into that I'm like, yeah, this is fun and good
what
stuff.
What is that?
This is called Dragon Kingdom of Renly. And I don't really know anything about it other than the characters are all dragons. And, it's like the protagonist, and you have this this kind of smart female, and you have this kind of fat, in a little bit dumb but kind of fat, green guy, and then this guy's the mischievous like Loki character. And so you have this like team of like four friends, and they go on adventures, and it's pretty fun. Great. So I bought them this and that, and they're small. They're a small format. They're like 8.5 by like 6 inches or whatever, small format for kid hands, and it's a full like graphic novel, probably like 64 pages or something like that, and simple for appropriate for the reading level of my kids older than my kids, to be honest. But my kids like it because they're brilliant and smart. They're the smartest kids that have ever existed, and they're the most wonderful kids that have ever existed.
Of course they are.
Advanced for their age. Okay, so this kind of stuff is winning the market right now. These are super fun and cool. If you got kids that read, they're starting to read and they're like maybe first or second grade or something like that, then these would be pretty appropriate for them to have. And there's even like a little mystery.
They're little graphic novels, comics.
Yeah. And they're like, there's even like a little mystery and intrigue because it doesn't exactly tell you who the bad character is, and you kind of figure it out. So these are actually really, really good. There's some, it must be related to something else too. I'm not sure, but anyway, so these kind of books are winning the market that used to exist for kids and stuff. So
yes, they are.
So I think this stuff is good. So this is the kind of stuff that I'm like, yeah, I want my kids to read this stuff. So anyway, good stuff.
If the kids can get into reading with the pictures and stuff like this, that just makes them smarter, man. That's great. I love that.
So every once in a while in our house, it gets quiet. And after like 10 or 15 minutes, my wife or I will be like, where are the kids? What's going on? Something's happening. They're either in trouble and we sneak in the other room. Oh, of course, they're reading.
That's awesome.
Or the other day, they were writing on the wall with pens. My wife was so mad about that.
I was sitting there thinking out of mind. It depends on who it is and why they're quiet. Because there's some, like if Deacon is quiet and Mag, I have nothing to worry about. But if Alex gets quiet, there's about a 70% chance that something's wrong.
Yeah, something. I'm gonna have to fix something in this house.
Yeah.
All right. So here we go. So I'm going to switch over to me. So I showed you this book a minute ago. This is the kind of stuff I'm buying right now. This is Jawbreakers. This is God King. I got this a year or two ago. This came in yesterday. This is Jawbreakers Grand Design, the prequel. These kind of campaigns and books and stuff come with like posters and stickers and all that kind of other stuff. Came with dog tags. I got this yesterday. This is where I'm putting my money for my entertainment.
Do you like all of that extra stuff that they're adding on because you're having to pay a little bit more for the book?
No.
Because you know that's what it is. That's just adding.
Well, I mean, look, the reality is that these books cost more. Yes. They're also bigger. They're well made. Okay. It's a
which is worth
novel.
The money to me.
Yeah, that's worth
I don't
the money.
have to have the free keychain.
So this kind of stuff doesn't it doesn't move the needle to me. But it doesn't really cost them that much more, and for some people, it's like a cool exclusive thing or whatever.
Good point. I've never been one of those people.
For these campaigns, it's an ancillary cost that drives additional sales, and then
all the
backers get it. So that's pretty cool stuff. So no, actually, this binder up here, I have a bunch of trading cards that have come in from some of these books. I'm keeping that in there, and then I've got some other things that I put in, like the posters. Like I'm not hanging up posters in my house. You crazy? I'm 44 years old, but I have a bunch of these posters, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with them. I may hang them in my office and make everybody at work think I'm weird. I'm thinking about doing that, but otherwise, I'm just they come folded, so I put them in a binder or whatever. So anyway, my revenue is going towards stuff like this and stuff like this that is interesting, and I'm only suggesting that if Marvel and DC want to stay solvent in the next 10 years, maybe try a different strategy than just, messing with the continuity. Because I used to care about Rachel Summers. I read Excalibur back in the 1990s. I used to care about Psylocke. I read X-Men back in the 1990s. I don't. You guys can do whatever you want with them.
See, that's. Hang on. That's for me. I don't care. I don't care what they do with some characters. They want to make them. I don't care what they do with some characters.
Whatever.
Rachel Summers is bisexual or whatever now. That's cool. I don't care. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't know. I was hard-headed for a long time about some of that stuff, and it was a friend of mine who was not into comic books, but was a librarian. And was telling me that she had gotten into comic books, and it opened my eyes to some stuff that I would have never read, like the Runaways.
Colin with the Beard said books like that got me into drawing. I think he might be talking about maybe the. I don't think he's talking about Jawbreakers, so I think he's probably talking about like the Dragons of Renly book I had up a minute ago. So he can clear that up. But yeah, I mean, and this kind of stuff, like if you can introduce your kids into stuff that's like art. It inspires creativity, which inspires them to take a personal interest in like learning how to do stuff and learning how to draw and learning how to do art. I mean, like it's the cornerstone of like a bunch of very important things in their life, other than just watching, Rugrats on TV or whatever.
You've always liked art. I'm assuming from a young age, like myself, that didn't just look at art, but like looked at how the art was done and what the artist was doing and how he was shading, or that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So when I was younger, when we were younger, because we're both the same age, I'm 45, right over you.
Yeah.
So when we were younger, do you remember when like the anime, the Japanese style of cartoon was coming or was being introduced in the United States?
My first memory of anime that I can actually tease out was probably in 90. Well, let me correct myself. My first memory of anime was the adaptation of Macross Gold, Macross, and and a couple of other series by Harmony Gold into Robotech. So that was the first like anime that I remember, but that was really like Americanized and very different. The first thing that I remember that was basically imported without really changing was Akira. And then there was, obviously there's a lot of stuff since then. So Robotech, I thought was super cool because it was
Robotech,
literally like jets turning into these like two-legged walking things. And that was super cool. Now, it turns out that was a real bastardization of 3 other franchises. Oh my gosh. Amber Alert. So that's my first memory, and then later Akira, but then it started to like really come in waves and like really pick up, and like the imported stories, and there's so many now. I am literally like, you can throw names at me, I'll be like, I've heard that before, I don't know what that is, I don't know anything about it. It's not that appealing to me in that particular style of storytelling.
I think my first memory was probably not my first memory, but my first big influence was Voltron. And now looking back on how they, clipped that crap up, it's amazing how they actually put it together back then. But that artwork, man, just I loved it so much. Hang on, some folks are talking in the chat.
Yeah. So Briefcase
Does that
Joe
cover have a mature? Yeah.
And it does not. And you know what? They don't consider this stuff to be a mature topic. And I am like, okay. So yeah, I don't see, now this is a variant level, so I don't know. But I don't see anything here on this image that says mature readers. And I don't see the original either. So yeah, this particular one doesn't appear to be the case. Colin with a beard says he's a K through 5 art teacher and encourages kids to read, doesn't matter what it is. And for the most part, I probably would agree with you. Other than I would not want my kids reading something graphic and like basically age appropriate for right now. Later on, they'll be older and they can
That's what we talked about one time with. I've got a couple of real good high school buddies that are middle school teachers now, and we were talking about how we were forced to read all that crap in high school, like the Red Badge, and some of them were really good. Silas Mariner and the Red Badge of Courage, and did you have to read all that same crap that everybody else did?
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it was just being forced to be read, and it made it very unenjoyable. And I remember in high school, my buddy gave me this book. It was a Dragonlance D&D book called The Legend of Huma, and it was about this knight named Huma and this minotaur named Kaz and this silver dragon that turned into a human, and it was so freaking awesome that I was just like, oh, I loved it. I couldn't put it down. I read so many more. And then I stumbled upon, in my 20s, military, like a sci-fi, a book that was written in very like military type book. I freaking loved it, man. And I read like 14 books in that series. And, so me and my buddies, I told them, if the kid hates to read, like I got a son that does not like to read. Alex doesn't like to read as much as Deacon does. I try to get Alex to, man, get the book on the, AC/DC, or get the book on the Dallas Cowboys, or get the book on something that
find a topic that they're into.
You don't have to read my fantasy book if you don't like it. You don't have to read this stuff.
Yeah. Well, and I'm not saying that other people shouldn't, like let their kids read this or that or whatever. I'm only saying, okay. So actually, Briefcase Joe, JJ, do you help your kids pick out stuff to read, or do they ask you about stuff, or a mix of both? My kids are very young, and they're 4 or 5, and I'm gonna move that out of the way because this is in my face. My kids are very young, but we take them both to stores that have like regular books, and we take them to comic book stores sometimes, occasionally. We usually go to the comic book stores looking for one of the sequels of the books they already have, and inevitably, in this day and age, the comic book store doesn't even have it in stock because
imagine that.
Yeah, they can't. They either can't carry the stock or they just can't afford it. And so for some of the series that we wanted, the subsequent books, I tried to go to the comic book store first and find it there, and they don't have it. And I'm like, okay, because I mean, I honestly was like trying to do a little bit to keep the comic book store open because I won't go there to buy Marvel comics anymore. They don't carry anything that I'm like super interested in. But I tried to keep the local comic shops in business by throwing them a little business with my kids. So I'll take them to the comic book store and we'll walk around. And of course, my kids want everything because they just want things. But usually they gravitate to some things that they really, really want. And usually it's like My Little Ponies or Care Bears or something. My oldest daughter loves dragons. That's how we found these dragons of Renly book. Bluey, I don't let them watch Bluey. Bluey. Oh wait, if you mean Bluey, the Australian thing, they like that cartoon and they would probably read those books, but they haven't seen those yet. I thought you meant Blue's Clues, but that Bluey, they do like Bluey. And in fact, we actually have a Bluey book. And then we also take them to like, I don't know, Target or whatever, and have the book section, and we run through the book section, and they will literally grab like all kinds of books. And usually I have to be like, we're not getting 10. We'll just get like a couple, put some of these back. So, but I let them explore and, find things of their own. That's what I do. And then I kind of like take it and I'm like, look through it. I'm like, yeah, this is okay. Or like, either this is too high of a level for you, in terms of like, if these start to read, so because they're not really reading words yet, but they are, they're it's the development they're at. They're not really reading words yet. My oldest daughter can read a few words, but they love the stories and they love the they love to interpret what they see and tell stories. So that's where they're at yet. So that's where we're at with my kids. Okay, so we're getting off of this topic. I basically wanted to say not the overt sexuality stuff about this, but the fact that Marvel and DC are losing market, and because they're pulling stunts, and the stunts don't hold. If they would pull a stunt like tell compelling stories, maybe they could find an audience. Somebody else posted an article that Eric Ripa of Ripaverse is doing the thing that Marvel can't. He's attracting readers. So if I pulled up Ripaverse real quick, you'll probably see that his campaign is now over $3 million. It's been 8 days.
Yeah, we talked about it.
12 days.
And he was a little less than a million, like 800,000.
The last time I looked at it, he hadn't broke to anyway. Yeah, no, this thing is he's got 34,000 in sales. If you were to put this on any kind of competition with Marvel or DC at the price he's doing at this number, I mean, like he'd be at the top of the markets. And before this is over, it's only been 12 days. I haven't bought in yet. There's a bunch of people like me. Oof, D. You fix your mic, D. All right, I'm unmuting your Chromebook. Does your Chromebook work? No, it doesn't, but your speakers do. All right, so I'm unmuting your cell phone. D.
Hello.
Yeah. Okay. Whoa, bro. Sorry about that. Sir listener that's left. That's because the others are gone. All right. So anyway, Ripaverse up over 3 million. And like, you know how he's doing this? He's doing this by he made a compelling story and he appealed to people to buy his material for the story, for the material. Okay. So, all right, let's dive into what I got two more things. I got one more story. And we have to talk about this because I posted a little short about it yesterday. Bleedingfool.com says media blames Thor 4's failure on being insufficiently gay. Okay. What's that mean? Well, it looks like the Marvel Movieverse is catching up with financial results of at least a few DC Movieverse entries, which started out strong in their debuts and then took a considerable dive at the box office soon after. Forbes acknowledged the plummet in grosses, even as they took the side of wokeness, but not honestly discussing the causes of the financial declines. So here's what they're saying. They're saying that the Thor 4, which opened like 2 weeks ago, first weekend, it made $144 million in revenue opening weekend. And then the second weekend took a 69% dive in earnings. So Walt Disney's Thor: Love and Thunder is the top movie at the domestic box office again, earning 13.8 on Friday. However, that's a brutal 80% drop for the Hemsworth Natalie Portman sequel from its $69.5 million opening. In terms of MCU movies, that's behind only the 82% drop of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness after a $91 million Friday. It's on par with Black Widow, which lost 79% in the second weekend last July, and Eternals, which lost 75% this past November. Alas, we're likely looking at a 45 million weekend and a 233 10-day total, still solid by most rational standards, but a record 68% second week plunge. So here they're coming out strong because people are like, finally, we want to watch a movie. Let's do some fun. And then the initial audiences go, and then word of mouth hits, and it's like, you can wait. You can wait for it to hit Disney Plus. So
I heard Thor was not very good, and I think that's why maybe it suffered. Like you said, everybody rushed out to watch it, and then everybody was like, "Don't go watch it. Wait for it to come out."
Yeah. So I mean,
I think that's what happened.
I mean, honestly, I loved Ragnarok, and from what I've seen of this, I am like, I don't want to watch this. And it's the same director, it's the same creative team. I mean, apparently, I haven't seen Thor 4, but apparently, he's not even the hero of the movie. It's Lady Thor. It's a big surprise. Lady Thor sacrifices herself to stop the bad guy or whatever. And, then I guess he gets the power up he needs to win or whatever. So I went over here to thenumbers.com. This is cool. I found this yesterday. Thenumbers.com movies, custom comparisons extended. So we have Thor, Thor, the original movie. You know Thor. It came out. It made $181 million in 2000 and I think 11 or so. Yeah, 2011. And then you had Thor: The Dark World, which was financially more of a success, critically a little bit more panned and basically forgotten about people, but the audience grew for Thor: Dark World. And then Thor Ragnarok came out in 2017 and made $314 million domestically, very, very good. And here we have Thor: Love and Thunder, which by all accounts, opening weekend, $144 million, more successful than the opening weekend of Thor Ragnarok. And, it technically is making more money, but here is what they are talking about. Weekend comparison. Look at this. Thor, the original Thor, opening weekend, 65 million, second weekend, 30. So they lost like 50% or whatever. Thor: Dark World, opening weekend, 85 million. Second weekend, 36 million.
Thor
Ragnarok, opening weekend, 122. This is Thor Ragnarok. Opening weekend, 122. Second weekend, 57 million. Okay, well, they've actually grown from second weekend from Thor: Dark World. And so, I mean, you have...
percentage-wise, it was still about the same. 120, 50. I mean, they're staying at about a 40 to 50% drop.
Opening weekend revenues growing. Opening weekend, second weekend revenues growing up through Thor Ragnarok. Third weekend revenues growing. Fourth weekend revenues growing. In fact, Thor Ragnarok did better week over week than every single weekend for 9 weeks.
It's Jeff Goldblum. Jeff Goldblum. Easy answer. That was Jeff Goldblum.
Might be. He's pretty great. Thor: Love and Thunder, opening weekend, $144 million. And so the Marvel stands would be like, best opening weekend of the Thor franchise ever. Yeah, let's do. What are you talking about? It's not doing good. Second weekend, less revenue by $11 million than Thor Ragnarok. It not only dropped, it dropped further than the previous movie. and this is the sign that, hey, well, what's going on here? Why are you well, if it's such a great movie, how come it's earning like a fraction performing? So, we got some more weekends to go here. The daily comparison is, I guess kind of equitable or whatever. So, but I don't want to go by, every single day. And then the week over week comparison isn't really ready yet. So we'll see how this goes or whatever. But for myself, if I
you
was
like that kind of stuff though, don't you?
I mean, I like numbers.
You're a numbers guy. You love numbers and stats.
Yeah,
I mean, love it. You always have since I've known you.
If you were being a rational person and saying like, hey, I want our company to do well and be able to employ more people, then you'd make decisions based on what makes money and what doesn't make money.
Exactly right. And in my opinion, math and numbers are like the universal. That is the true universal language. If we ever met, another race from another planet, that would be our universal language, and we can figure out how to communicate with math. Because I think it would be the same, very, very similar. Nature is all math. I love that crap too, but I'm not a numbers guy like you.
But Mrs. JJW drops it in, says, we are a stats family. His wife is a stats prof. And I was about to say that was
that's hilarious.
My wife is a mathematician. And when we first got, so this is kind of funny. She kind of likes this story. So when we were young and dating and, I asked her out, I am, from my point of view, I'm so dumb that I'm just like, I think it's great you're a math teacher. I'm not even smart enough to know that I should be intimidated by that. I'd be like, oh, that's cool. And then like, let's go play tennis or let's go have dinner and let's go do something fun. Let's go watch a movie. Apparently a bunch of the other people that she would date would be like intimidated by the fact that she was so smart. She was a mathematician. She's, she is legitimately smart and she is legitimately like a math person. I mean, they would be intimidated and then the things wouldn't work out. But I'm just like dense and clueless. And I'd be like, let's go watch a movie. Let's go have dinner.
She smells pretty.
Yeah, you're pretty. Come on, Blondie. So I married up, but she says she married up, but only one of us is right, and it's me. All right. Briefcase Joe says, Professor Wright, it sounds like my kids when they were that age, it was they're talking to each other. I was always involved in what they read and offered suggestions, helping with find stuff like that. So here, she says,
that's great.
She says I'm crazy. All right. Anyway, so we'll watch this. I don't know. My wife's out of town. I could totally go watch Thor Love and Thunder if I wanted to, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do that. I'll just wait for it to come on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
I don't need to see this.
Smarter.
Okay, all right. Now it's time for the coup de grace. The thing. Go ahead.
Okay, I started to say if you're going to do my thing, you got to give me about a minute.
All right,
I have 30 seconds left. I have 30 seconds left in this song, and then I have to do a break.
Okay, we got a couple bumpers here. So
okay.
We're about to talk to you, folks. But before we get to that, Deadpool 2, and Logan are coming to Disney Plus tomorrow. So I guess I should have used a segue. Like, speaking of Disney Plus, Deadpool 2, and Logan are coming to Disney Plus tomorrow. So if you are a Disney Plus subscriber and you haven't seen these movies, get ready, because my understanding was that Marvel was not going to put R-rated movies on Disney Plus, and these three are R-rated movies. Deadpool 2, and Logan are all three rated R. I thought that they were going to be using the Hulu platform to host the harder content. Deadpool is a super fun and funny movie. Deadpool 2 stars Deacon's favorite character, Cable, played by his name escapes me right now. Thanos. Can't remember. not Bronson. Brolin, Josh Brolin, Cable by Josh Brolin, and then Logan, of course, is the I would say definitive Hugh Jackman Wolverine movie. So those are all cool. If you've got a break this weekend, you want to watch some pretty good movies, I highly recommend Logan and even the Deadpool movie. So those are all 3 good movies coming on Disney Plus starting today. So you can go watch those today or this weekend if you want. In addition, I'm not sure if Deacon ever watched the
original.
No, I know you watched the original. I already dropped that off. Game of Thrones. Did you ever watch Game of Thrones? That seems kind of.
I watched I don't know. I've probably seen maybe 7 episodes. I had some friends that watched it, so I'd go over to their house and watch it every once in a while. And as much as I love that genre, that I didn't jump on the bandwagon. I've never been a bandwagon jumper. I mean, even in my younger days, if the whole school, the popular thing was to wear red shoes, my ass was coming in blue shoes. That's just how I was. I've never followed the herd. Never.
Ghost Dog making fun of me not being able to remember Josh Brolin's name. Okay.
Remember Josh Brolin's name? You better be glad I was freaking talking, man. I might have just left the damn podcast right then.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so you weren't a Game of Thrones fan. I presume then you're not a huge George R.R. Martin reader.
I really think he's kind of a nut, man.
He's a little bit of a Looney Tunes.
He's a little weird.
I was reading the books before the show came out, and which means I read probably 3 of the books because he never finished his books. And then the show came out, and I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of salacious or whatever. I completely dropped it at the Red Wedding or thereabouts. I was like, I just don't need to. I don't care about this. I don't want to see this. So I didn't watch the series finish, and I heard that it didn't. I heard that it was a bit of a disappointment. But it wasn't a disappointment.
I heard that it was more than a bit of a disappointment. And after I heard that, I was like, I'm kind of glad I didn't watch that show.
Right. So apparently it wasn't a financial disappointment because I'm about to sneeze. Hang on.
Purple cow. Purple cow. Purple cow. Purple cow. Purple cow.
I didn't sneeze. I'm gonna.
If you say purple cow, you won't sneeze.
You think so?
Purple. It's a fact.
I'm gonna switch over to this so that we can watch the trailer. Let me switch over to this version because some people may be interested in this. HBO and George R. R. Martin have a sequel of the show that is a prequel in story. It is the House of the Dragon, the tale, I'm sure, of the inbred Targaryens. Let's see what's going on.
So dude didn't finish the first show. Dude didn't finish the first show, and then they finished it for him, and it was crappy. Right. And then they're like, hey, you want to do something else with us?
Yeah, we got to get these. Okay, so let's see. Maybe there's a reason. Yeah, he didn't finish the books yet. He still hasn't finished Dance of Dragons, he's finished. I don't know what the hell. I don't know what he's on. Here's the fact. George got money from HBO. He got rich, and he just doesn't care about making the books anymore. But let's see. Here we go. Watching House of the Dragon official trailer. Oh, it's the Iron Throne.
It was clearer than a memory. And I heard the sound of thundering hooves, splintering shields and ringing swords.
Okay.
And I placed my hand upon the Iron Throne. And all the dragons roared as one.
Okay, I'm going to stop for a second. If you didn't watch Game of Thrones, you had to wait 5 seasons or 6 seasons to ever actually see a dragon. It looks like they're coming out the gate so that you can see dragons, which I'm sure is what people wanted to see. The Targaryens, which are the ones that...
I unfortunately was watching at the time when Khaleesi was married to what's his name,
Yeah,
and it
the
was
first
very
season.
brutal.
Yeah.
So brutal stuff, and that was not that was an automatic turn off. And then I saw the little dragons. So
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, the little ones.
The incestual stuff, I was just like, okay, I understand. I'm a history person. I understand, but that doesn't mean that I want to. I'm not entertained by it. And this is supposed to be entertaining, and some people might be, and they think it's a good story. That's just not. I've never even. This has
Colin has a beard. Is more interested in the Lord of the Rings series. I need to ask you about this. So Amazon Prime is we'll put it in quotes, adapting Tolkien's universe into a series launching in 2 or 3 weeks, August 17th. I have read some of Tolkien, but I'm not a Tolkien enthusiast. And now I am a Wheel of Time enthusiast, and Amazon also butchered that series. So I have very little hope if you are a Tolkien fan. But
they're never going to be the same as the books, though. They're never going to be.
No, there is not the same, and there is like let's just make something else up and call it the same thing. So, are you a Tolkien fan, sir?
Yes.
Oh, you are. Have you read? Yes. I mean, like, how into it? Have read it, or like know the lore, or somewhere in the middle there? Where are you at?
I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm not a huge lore person in that, but I do know a lot of the lore because where you're a stats person, I'm a that kind of person.
Okay, all right.
And so yeah.
Ruby,
and I've read The Hobbit, and I've read I don't know how far into Lord of the Rings. I have not finished it, and I don't even think I got about halfway.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I got through Lord of the Rings until the one of the guys was dancing through the forest and singing a song, and I checked out. I was like, oh, I'm out. So anyway, that's just my personal position, but I know that there's a lot of super huge fans on Tolkien. Okay, so we will have to address Tolkien at some point and what you think of the series coming up. But
how do you put a question up on the screen?
You just click on it and it just hide show.
Oh, I did that.
Yeah. Colin says, Deacon, have you watched The Last Kingdom on Netflix? I feel like you wouldn't like it.
You would like it.
Oh, you would like it. I'm sorry. I misread that.
The Last Kingdom has been in my watch list for a long time, and I haven't watched it, but I will move that up to because I've just finished the. I've actually got just a little bit left in the last season of the Umbrella Academy, and then I'm going to watch that. So yeah.
I watched the first season of Umbrella Academy. It was pretty good, and I would be interested in your opinion on another day. On another day, I would like to hear what you have to say about Umbrella Academy season 2.
Yes, we need to talk about this because you do want to know my opinion on that show.
I do want to know. I do want to know what you. I'm sure there's many things about that show that are worth opining of. And apparently, Ghost Dog and my wife are over here talking about Ghost Dog maybe getting married. If he is, congratulations.
Awesome.
Yeah, congratulations. So, how do we? Can you make that go away? I can't make it go away. Make that message go away. Let's finish this trailer so we can go talk D&D.
They consider the matter urgent. That of your succession.
So that
who else would have a claim?
The whole thing with the Targaryens, though, is that they had like the bloodline that can like do something with dragons. So they just kept the bloodline together. So brothers and sisters would be like.
I will not be made to choose between my brother and my daughter.
Ew. That's why they all have the super violent hair.
Rhaenyra's succession will be challenged. Knives will come out.
You are the king. Your duty is to take a new wife.
I have decided.
Oh my god, this trailer's so long.
I'm your heir.
All right, I can't do it. I can't finish this thing.
JJ.
It's so long.
Sorry. Go ahead.
All right. Anyway, so HBO has a sequel to the Game of Thrones, and it's gonna be I'm sure totally different than the first season.
It looks like it. I'm excited.
Right.
Can you hear it in my voice?
Yeah. Okay. Well, but you know what? We have learned that a couple of our regular members of the audience are into Lord of the Rings stuff, have read The Hobbit. Briefcase Joe has read The Hobbit. I would love to have some people on at some point and school me on Tolkien and tell me why I am wrong for not caring very much about those books. But you know what I do care about? I care about I care about Tolkien's body of work and the fact that it ought to be appreciated for what it is. And I'm not sure that Amazon is necessarily doing that. But we'll have to address that at some point. Now I want to get it. And let me get my material queued up for the review of the D&D stuff. This is as far as I'm concerned, the biggest thing to come out of San Diego Comic-Con yesterday. So
I can't get this stupid light it blinds me if I put it in my face like I'm a freaking Insta-tuber or whatever the crap.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
But then it shines on my head and it's going to blind y'all out like it's the freaking sun.
This is the bee's knees. Okay. So I'm going to do one page at a time. So first of all, early in the day, pardon my clearing my throat.
I'm blocking the glare.
And edge tab. Here we go. So early in the day, before the trailer was unveiled, there was this display at San Diego Comic-Con, which was it's basically like a TV behind a like wooden frame or whatever, like it was a motion poster. And it was the preview of the characters of Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves, which is a new movie, D&D movie, #D&D movie that's coming out in 2023, I guess. Oh, you're out of the box. Out of the box. You're not interested.
Out of the box.
Deacon,
yeah.
Deacon, you got it.
We need to let our listeners know, unless they don't. I'm 40 years old. I have played Dungeons and Dragons since first edition, since I was 13 years old.
Yes.
My uncle that gave me the books was basically Eddie from Stranger Things. Okay. I was the group of the kids in Stranger Things, Will and all them. And I still play Dungeons and Dragons on Thursday nights over Discord and Roll20 with a group of friends, 3 that I went to high school with and played D&D in high school with. 1 from Brazil. We played with a guy from New Zealand, a couple of guys from like Kansas and North Carolina. So I still play D&D.
Okay.
And we're on 5th edition, and we've adapted and evolved throughout the last 30 plus years. So I know a little bit about D&D, and out of the box, I am not looking forward to this movie.
Okay.
I haven't seen anything but heard they're making a D&D movie. Okay.
So you haven't seen anything. You hadn't
seen anything. I just heard that they were making a D&D movie, and then yesterday you tagged me and said,
"Don't read this.
Do not watch anything." So I was like, okay,
I'm so excited.
I'm not watching anything.
So here's the thing. You are the D&D expert. As far as I'm concerned, you're the expert. I'm not an expert on the brand new rules, but I was the kid who had to defend it against the parents that it wasn't a demon devil worshiping. Yeah. My wife would be the absolute normie normkins that's like Dungeons and what? And I am much closer to her as like, oh, I know what Dungeons and Dragons is. Yeah. I've cracked a spine open before, and I've never played, and I'm much closer.
People, let me just say, as stats people, you would love that aspect of Dungeons and Dragons.
It's all rolling dice. It's probability.
Oh my God, it's nothing but stats. I've got Excel sheets that might make you drool if you knew what they were talking about.
So, all right. So I represent much closer to the mainstream, in my opinion, much closer to the mainstream popular audience that is ignorant of the details of D&D and only kind of superficially aware of like wizards or something. So here's where we're at. We got San Diego Comic-Con, which takes genre media and basically mass produces it to be consumed by normie normkins. And unfortunately, that means that people that love it, like Deacon down there, sometimes have things that they love get pooped on by Hollywood. That happens on occasion. It happened to me for Wheel of Time, a book series that I read for over 20 years, even after the author died. Books came out, read Wheel of Time. Amazon bought the rights to the series, and I was like, oh my God. And then they produced it last year, and they literally dumped from the butt onto the series and ruined it to the point where, like, I may not even read those books again. So here we go. Now, I'm not saying that. I'm saying I've seen this stuff, and I think we're going to have different reactions here. So first, we have the character reveal trailer or character reveal presentation on display before the trailer was unveiled at the panel for D&D Honor Among Thieves. Here we go, Deacon.
Okay, can I look at this here? Let me. I want to look at it on my screen too when you go through it. Okay.
All right.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah, so this is just a short little flip through. Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, Regé-Jean Page, Justice Smith. I took the volume down on this quite a bit. And Sophia Lillis and Hugh Grant. All right. Now that loops. I'm going to mute this particular one for a minute. So we have Chris Pine playing a character with a sword, and then you don't see it in this particular presentation stream. He also has a mandolin or something.
Sorry. Okay.
Oh.
So Chris Pine is probably the bard.
Okay. That's correct.
Okay. That's a
mandolin. Well, you can see he has a mandolin next to his name.
Yeah. So he's the bard.
Yes.
And he's going to be probably the leader because the bard is the person that does a lot of the talking.
Oh, okay.
Michelle Rodriguez, normally, if you're going, Michelle Rodriguez is awesome. I like Chris Pine too. I love Michelle Rodriguez. She's the barbarian.
Okay, got the little axe thing next to her name.
Yep. This Regé-Jean Page, he looks like the paladin.
That it has like a helmet with Thor wings on the ears.
Okay, so yeah, that's that. He's the paladin, I bet. Okay. And the paladin is imagine like a fighter of good who will. Okay. He's a champion of good. Can use some magic.
Okay. And then next up is Justice Smith, and he's got like a teardrop.
He's a wizard. He's an elven wizard.
He didn't get
or some really sort of spellcaster. There's several in D&D over the years with the news. So there's the wizards and sorcerers and all kinds.
He's got like a magic wand or something.
Yeah, he's got a wand. So he's the wizard. She is the tiefling rogue.
Now, if you can't see it in her hair, she has like two little horns.
And then her eyes are slits.
So what is the thing jumping out of her gauntlet? It looks like a little,
hang on, let me look.
like it's throwing something at you there.
She's a rogue, so she's probably throwing something. Hang on, let me look again.
If you look at the main screen,
she's got a slingshot. It's a slingshot.
Oh, that's a slingshot. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I see. I see. There's her hand pulling it back, and then like, okay, so it's a
the slingshot's mounted to her arm, so she can. That's actually a cool D&D. They probably got that.
Why would you do it sideways? Why wouldn't you do it this way, where you could get more extension? That's crazy.
Know. Her race is tiefling, and she is has demon blood in her.
Oh, okay.
And not all tieflings. Tiefling.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, they're kind of a newer race that they use in the D&D, but they don't have to be evil, but they can look evil, So because they have that demon blood from a pact or something in their family or them, so that's why she looks like that. A lot of them have different colored skin, but okay. So and then Hugh Grant looks almost like the freaking dungeon master, but he is.
So Hugh Grant's name has like a
he's
like
the cleric. He's the cleric.
Well, he's okay. All right, so that's our
he heals. Yeah, okay.
That's our character introduction. All right, so there is now. Let me pull.
I gotta pause in 20 seconds.
All right. Well,
just a second.
You sure? Go ahead. I'm going to pull up the next page. So, for those of you listening, have you ever played Dungeons and Dragons? Because I have. I talked to Deacon about this the other day on another show. I have only ever done the character creation stages of Dungeons and Dragons, and after that, my interest rapidly falls off. So, if you have ever played or have any affection for D&D, please let us know so that we can also know how much you are enjoying the reveal of Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. Briefcase Joe says that Deacon needs a derby, and I would see that. So
okay. So
looks like Briefcase Joe said something about reading Silver Age comics instead. I think that was related to maybe earlier thing we had. Okay. So, Colin with a Beard has played a dwarf bard.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay.
All nice. Right. I always play bard. That's my current character is a bard.
Oh, so this is a more popular character than I thought it would be. Like this type of thing. I would be like,
I've always liked the bard because I was never I never liked the role to the tank. They've defined it nowadays as the tank. And there's always been those types of roles, and I always was the support. That's what I've always liked to do is support, and I can help boost, and I like this part. I didn't like him at first, but I've been playing the same character for 5 years now, and he's 16th or 17th level, and we're getting near the end of our whole 5-year campaign. And
so you play this game in 5-year story chunks?
This one's gone 5 years only because we play like 3 hours a week on a Thursday night from 9 to midnight. And then sometimes it's spent loading stuff and sometimes it's spent doing other stuff. And we can have one combat round that will last 2 hours. So we can't, usually when we would play as kids, we would have like 5 and 6 hours to eat pizza and, spend the whole freaking afternoon.
Stay up all night and your back wouldn't be hurting while you were
sitting. And we can't do that anymore because and that's why we get together on Thursday nights from 9 to midnight. And that is not a very convenient time for me since I get up at 4 a.m.
Right.
So there's several Thursday nights when it's like 1:30 and I'm really contemplating whether I should just stay up.
All right, so if we have time now, I'm going to drop this out. Thank you, Colin, for the comment. All right, so this is on comicbook.com. This is because not everybody can go to San Diego Comic-Con. Comicbook.com has some people out there, and they are reporting on what happened at the Dungeons and Dragons panel and a recap of the footage. So first, usually the footage is displayed, maybe special clips are displayed at the panel, stories are dropped in, and then as is the norm now, the trailers that are released are put on YouTube or something, and then like the special footage never gets released or doesn't get released for a while. So we know now who the cast is, and let's skip down to so here we have the footage description. So here, I want to talk about this. Okay, so we have footage. They had 2 footage descriptions and then some Q&As, and we're going to skip the Q&A. They had 2 footage descriptions and they had a trailer footage kind of covering. So after a bit of a glitchy start at the show, they saw the D&D team, which is Pine, Rodriguez, Lillis, Justice Smith, going to a barbarian graveyard to help find a mystical helmet by interviewing corpses. Smith's mage character, so mage is a wizard, uses some necromancy to bring back a first corpse with a 5-question limit.
He used with the dead, a spell I used not too long ago.
This is great. Yeah. Okay, bring back a first corpse with a 5-question limit. I'm not sure how they phrase in that exactly what a first corpse is, but maybe they just meant first bring back a corpse with a 5-question limit. But some communicative mishaps ruined that interview. What unfolds next is a comedic sequence of the group talking to dead barbarians and the flashbacks of their deaths, creating a frustrating whisper down the lane effect, which results in multiple dead ends. That's a pun, and a lot of corpses having to be dug up. So,
from that right there, JJ, that almost completely changed my outlook on this movie.
I hope it does. Because this is going to be
why. Well, because that first Dungeons and Dragons movie they made a long time ago was just dog crap, and all this other crap that if they put a Dungeons and Dragons logo on it for any kind of cartoon or media or anything like that, it turns out to be dog crap, except for that cartoon in the 80s. And honestly, if you go back and watch it now, it's not that great, but they should redo that. But that right there sounds exactly like something that would happen in game, because that spell I think you have 5 questions to ask. We just used it not too long ago, and our dungeon master is was my best friend back in the day. I've known him for half my life. He's a very intelligent guy, and he's hilarious. And so you have 5 questions, and he will always make it hard. You have to phrase those questions exactly right, or he will burn you. It's like it's hilarious only because that's him. That's his storytelling, and that's how he does it. Some other storyteller might give you the correct answer, and you would go on your way. And what fun is that? So that honestly sounded like something that we've done. We would have 5 questions, and then at the end of the 5 questions, we'd be like, "Well, shit, we don't know anything more now. We wasted that spell."
Right. Okay. All right. Good. I'm glad already you've gone from you want to protect the thing you like to hold on, maybe they've got something right here.
If they hired somebody that's like, I played D&D before, more than once. Yeah, that's great.
All right. So Hugh Grant was apparently at the panel. Hugh Grant described the scene being a prime example of the Monty Python vibe that made him laugh out loud, a rarity for Grant when reading scripts. So this is an action comedy movie. Action comedy. J&J described, so J&J, I don't know who that is. Apparently I was supposed to get their name, or whatever. J&J described all the creatures and authentic lore working with groups like Wizards of the Coast to ensure hardcore D&D fans walk away happy. Footage description 2. We got a little feedback here.
Tried to call me.
All right. Pardon me, my throat. I'm out of coffee. All right, footage description 2. A second clip from the Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves showed the party being placed by Hugh Grant's game master character into an Eve shifting maze. What's an Eve shifting maze? Alongside other competing parties. The groups are being stalked by a creature that's a panther with a Venus flytrap tentacles and mouths out of its sides.
That's a displacer beast.
Okay.
They can make themselves, you think they're in front of you, but they're really over here beside you. And it looks like a black panther with these little tentacles coming out of its back. I was going to say Hugh Grant really looked like a dungeon master, and then you had that little cleric, and I said he was the cleric, but yeah, he looked like the dungeon master.
It did have like like the traditional like medical cross with wings kind of thing.
That's what it looked like to me. Yeah. But it could also have been the tip of a staff.
Well, couldn't you be the cleric and the game master if you're
probably, since he's the older one?
Okay.
Yeah.
So the panther creature stalks down a lot of red shirts using powers like illusion casting. The maze arena also had a lot of signature D&D maze traps and loot, from weapons to treasure chests that comes alive and tries to eat Michelle Rodriguez.
That's what I was just fixing to say. I guarantee you there's a damn mimic in this movie, because that's a huge thing. And and either a beholder or a gelatinous cube, or it'll be one of those.
This is great because I know that you know what you're talking about, and I know these words, but I don't know what they mean. And the clip ends with the Panther creature cornering Chris Pine's character, who doesn't see the illusion trap coming. All right, so that's 2 secret clips that they had at the show that we don't see really.
For any D&D people watching or maybe play in the future, let me give you a professional tip. If you ever come across one of those panther creatures like JJ's talking about, it's called a displacer beast. And if you kill it, you want to skin it and make something with its hide. And if you have a good dungeon master, that will be something that will give you some sort of magical illusion ability.
Okay. What? Take its skin off and wear it as a hat. All right. So there is a brief description of the trailer footage. So I'm not sure if I should read this because it's very short, or we should just watch the trailer.
Let's watch it.
Okay, let's watch the trailer. So let me let's watch the trailer. Let me get the trailer up and make sure we have sound. I guess it's this one. Nope, not that one. Where's the trailer? Oh, I have I know I had the trailer. Let me get it. Is this?
I am not a very pretty person.
Well,
I've accepted that.
Okay. Is this? Here we go. Okay. Now, share, and here we go. Let me know if you can't hear it or if it's too loud. Okay. So, we're gonna go full screen on this baby.
Here's the thing. We're a team of thieves. And when you do this, you're bound to make enemies. Sometimes those enemies come looking for revenge. Truth be told, we helped the wrong person steal the wrong thing. We didn't mean to unleash the greatest evil the world has ever known. But we're gonna fix it.
So how do we pull that off? Figure it out over a drink?
Probably best.
You need Kool-Aid!
To give us a fighting chance, we're gonna need strength. You got this, right?
I know you don't.
We also need courage, magic, and you. What is that again? It's an owl bear.
Let's go!
Be warned. There is evil here.
I'm glad he's on our side.
This one's dangerous. But whatever happens, we'll be ready.
What is it exactly that you bring to this?
I'm a planner. I make plans.
You've already made the plan, so...
If the existing plan fails, I make a new plan.
So you make plans that fail?
No.
He also plays the lute.
Not relevant.
All right, sir. All right.
Okay, so I have 2 things.
Yes.
The owl bear was awesome.
Yes.
That was awesome. And then you seen the gelatinous cube. They got thrown into the gelatinous cube in there.
All right. Let's just cut through. Let's go through this a little bit. Okay, so overall impression.
That's the displacer beast.
That's the displacer beast.
Yeah, you can see it's a black panther, and it's got the 2 tentacles coming up from its back right there.
I'm all the way at the back. I'm all the way at the front. Okay, so overall impression, positive or negative?
Positive, actually. That looks good. Maybe if they kept it up, they could keep going, and you wouldn't have to have the same actors every time, because that's the beauty about Dungeons and Dragons. It's all a different story. Your party is the main character in your story, but you might not be the only story going on in the world.
So he's a bard, and she's the barbarian, and this guy in the front is a mage, and it looks like the what did you call her? The
Tiefling girl. Who is that? What did she?
She's a rogue, right? With the slingshot.
Yeah, but she shape changed, so she wouldn't be able to have that ability unless it was a magical item. If she was just a rogue, so she would have to be. I almost thought she was a druid, but she don't.
Oh, she's the one that turned into the owlbear thing, right?
Yeah. Okay. And that's I thought it was an owlbear, but they fought the owlbear, and then she turned into one, and that's a shape change ability. I have that spell. I turned into a dragon at one point and decimated this army because I had saw a red dragon.
Is it possible that she's a multi-class character?
She could be a multi-class. Yeah, she could be multi-class, straight up. Yeah.
We have now reached the absolute pinnacle of everything that I know about. I used the word multi-class, and now
what was her name?
Something Silas. I mean, I don't know what her character's name was, but
she looks very familiar. What do I know her from?
That's a good question.
I watched something with her in it. She's Beverly Marsh from It. Okay.
I didn't.
She does really good. I thought she was really good. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So, all right. So let's just kind of step through this, and maybe you can tell me something that I'm like. Maybe we can get some Easter eggs out of this, because I still know one thing that you don't. I know a secret that you don't know.
Ooh, okay.
And you still haven't picked it out of this because it's not in this. So I know something you don't know. Here we go.
Okay.
All right. So they're in some arena. So they get dumped into an arena. And then here on the screen, there's the panther. What'd you call this thing?
It's a displacer beast.
And I guess this is its tentacle thing.
Part of its tentacle. Yeah, that looks wonderful. And that is the gelatinous cube.
So what is that? And is it a good thing to jump into it?
It is literally a gelatinous cube. And if you go into it, it will eat you. Like you start dissolving.
Why would
I don't remember if it's instant death or not. And it's because the rules have changed. The rules change over the years.
You can see them jumping into it.
Whoever's jumping into it is I don't know. I would think they'd be dead.
Can they get pulled out?
See, that's where the rules differ. I've played sometimes where you can, and then I've played some games where the DM says if you fall into it, you automatically die. It's like instant acid death.
I mean, I think these are protagonists, so they must be able to get out of this thing. But obviously,
if that's the heroes, they can get out. But if that's some bad guys, then they're dead.
Oh, okay.
And they should be dead.
All right, so here we're going to step again. Let's see. Okay, he's doing something with his hat here. I guess he did like a boomy thing.
Yeah, mental spell or something.
We got the piercing gaze of Chris Pine and
Captain
Michelle
Kirk.
Rodriguez, and it kind of looks like they're like on a boat, maybe, and there's the ocean. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I saw a boat earlier.
Yeah, that's common.
Okay, so what's going on here with?
I don't know.
Oh man, that skipped back too far. So she's like on the ground in the forest, and then like squats down, and then bloop right through the floor, and comes up in some other room.
Might be she might be casting some sort of like sanctuary spell or something because if we were going to camp at night, there's certain spells that you would cast to set up a perimeter, but there's also certain spells that you can cast to create a space in a plane, in like an unknown plane of existence. You create a space in a void that's your space.
Joe says it looks like teleportation.
Or it could be teleportation.
Maybe it's teleportation.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, so here in this scene, we have a dragon.
It's a black dragon.
It's spitting black something,
acid.
and then that stuff blows up.
Yeah, it's like a black acid that's flammable.
Black
I think it's flammable. But yeah, when that black dragon flew through and it was spitting that on the ground, I was like, "Oh, that's awesome! Yeah, that's cool."
So, I mean, I honestly, when I've seen this trailer a couple times, and I saw the scene with the dragon, I was like, "Oh, it's doing fire, but it's not fire." So that's interesting, and that it still blows up. So I did not know that it was okay. So
yeah, the dragons in D&D all spit something different.
all right, so here is a shot of outside the Colosseum.
Yeah, that's just bad. That's awesome.
It looks like there's some statues. There's like a guy with a bow on the right and a guy with a sword on the left. These are statues, and it looks like a fireball is going into the Colosseum. Maybe
no, it looks like it's coming out. I think this is where it comes out and hits them with that. They have a spell.
Oh, okay, you're right. It is coming out, and then so here, homeboy has his hands up, and the spell you're talking about blocking the thing, and everybody's taking cover here. All right. Title card. Trailer starts now. Okay. We have a boat on the sea. There's the Colosseum right there. We have a balloon in a castle.
Yeah, okay. That's cool.
All right. Fantasy looking. We have the intrepid heroes. They seem to have already recruited her, because it seemed like that scene we saw later was them like trying to talk her into joining the mission.
Yeah, so, it might.
I think there's. So how many people there were on the team? There was Chris Pine. There was the magician. There was the barbarian and the rogue girl. There were only 4 on the team. Is that right?
I think so. Okay. No, there was the paladin guy.
The paladin guy. Okay. All right. So maybe they're going to the arena to recruit the paladin guy. Okay. You got a little like production set design here. We got some tents with rope and loot. Maybe this is the kind of hey, at the beginning of your campaign, don't you get to start with like a bag of something and some rope and like candles, or maybe that kind of stuff is just at this market, right?
Starting equipment. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And then okay, so what any idea what I'm looking at here? It's a lava place with islands suspended by chains. Is this a?
Nah, that's just some place that they've went to.
Okay. And there is the. So what? Any idea what this thing is? It's like a device that's opening up. It looks. It kind of looks like a. I don't know. Like a mystery opening box. And
okay, so that's what he was wearing earlier when he sent out that psychic.
So it's like an enchanted hat. And
yeah, look, what's on that? I can't. I've got a little bitty screen here.
Yeah, let me see if I can get this higher resolution. Just a second. I'm bumping up to 1080, even though we're only broadcasting at 720. Here, maybe I'll put it down in the bottom. Make it just.
I'm just gonna open it up on my bigger screen over here.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Oh, we have full screen mode in Restream. I did not know that. Hey, in the Restream app, if you push F while you're on the browser page, the Restream app will take up the whole page, so you got more. Anyway. So there's some sort of a magic box, and inside is the hat. It kind of looks like dice or something, but not really. I don't know. I don't know what these things are.
Heck, I'm trying to find it.
Oh, it's at 17 seconds.
Oh, it's at 17. Okay.
Yeah, 17 seconds.
I don't know what that was.
Okay, so
no, I don't know what that is.
Okay,
it looks like I don't know. I'll do a screen capture and ask my D&D buddies. I got some hardcore D&D nerds. I got a buddy from Brazil that plays Pacham, and he's more knowledgeable than I ever would think about being in D&D.
All right,
he knows a crap thing.
So Okay, at this point, it appears that all 5 of the team are assembled, and the paladin is getting his magic hat out of a, I don't know, some sort of a fancy box. There's his magic hat. Back to the shot of the city and some sort of a battle. And here's our dragon doing the black dragon doing acid and spit at a catapult, and then something blows up. So maybe the catapult would have been loaded with something that blows up, and then his acid blew it up.
Say that again.
And so
Black
dragon, the black, it didn't blow up until it hit the catapult, and then the catapult actually caught fire. So the catapult was loaded with something that is explosive and went boom. And then here's another catapult right here. It's about to get hit. And then the second catapult, well, the big explosion
awesome.
was the payload. Okay, so Paramount, a Hasbro company, some islands, they're running. He looks all armored up in this scene. He wasn't wearing this kind of stuff before. And he has some sort of a symbol on his coat there.
Yeah.
On his cloak. See that thing? Does that mean anything? Is that like a bard thing? Any idea? This looks like a flashback scene. Like maybe he was on a prior adventure. All right.
I don't know what that is either.
A horn, a glowing horn, and this girl has got like kind of red in her eyes, maybe reflecting the horn.
That horn could be anything. I mean, it could be an old D&D thing, nothing comes to mind right offhand, but it could be like the horn of a demon lord, and that might be have some one a Grax or some demon lord that's been in the D&D lore forever.
Okay.
It might be something like that. But nothing, shoots off my knowledge right off the bat.
All right.
Same with the helmet. The helmet could be 2 or 3 different things, but nothing that really like flies out right off the bat. So it could be something that they were like, let's call it the Helm of the Red Dragon and give it this power. Or Helm of the Illithid or Mind Flayer. Since it sent out those psychic things, it might have something to do with Mind Flayers and Illithids. Which is a huge D&D character. I mean, that's a huge D&D thing, which I'm surprised that they wouldn't have something in this movie unless they don't own the rights to it.
So at this point in the trailer, he said we saw something for some bad guys or something like that. So this is an over the shot of the horn.
It looks like, that's what I was gonna. That was one of the things that I didn't like. The 2 things that I didn't like about this movie. The one thing. Hang on, a train's fixing to come by. It's gonna get loud.
All right. Okay. And then so there's some sort of like, it's difficult to see, but there's some like red smoke, or maybe like demons or something coming out of this thing.
Okay,
and this dude right here looks like he's all burned up or scarred up, but definitely bald and like some sort of a monster thing. So it kind of looks like a little bit like a skull. I'm gonna roll back to see if I can catch his face. Right there. See that right there?
Yeah.
It kind of looks like a skull thing, but he's got skin on his hand, so he's not like a zombie. And then
that might be a lich, kind of like the thing on Stranger Things right now that's getting all the talk all over social media is Vecna, and Vecna in D&D was a lich, and a lich is basically like an undead, very powerful wizard. If a wizard got so powerful, he would try not to die and live forever. So he undergoes this process to become a lich so that they can essentially live forever. But so imagine a very powerful living person who is now undead and has been alive for 300 more years. How much powerful they are now.
Would he be able to be powerful enough to look like this and then cast a spell and look like Hugh Grant?
Like that. Yeah, they would look like that, and yes, that to look like Hugh Grant would be a very simple spell that any a 3rd level, 4th level character could cast.
So I'm betting that Hugh Grant is the bad guy, and that this thing is Hugh Grant before he puts on his Hugh Grant suit.
Well, that's a good, yeah. And that was another thing that I was getting at, was the story. You know, we stole something from, you know, and ended up giving it to a bad guy. What we stole was bad, and now we're trying to make up for it. Okay,
so
I've heard this story before. I see. Okay, I can see where this is going.
Colin says that was a Vecna's horn. What's a Vecna's horn?
Vecna didn't have a horn. Vecna lost his eye and his left hand in the D&D lore. Kaz, his vampire general, was a vampire named Kaz, K-A-S, and Kaz cut off his hand and his eye, and Vecna's eye and Vecna's hand were very powerful objects in the D&D lore. And if you had Vecna's hand, you could cut off your hand and go through this ritual to put his hand on your hand, and you would gain all kinds of freaking powers. But it would also start to slowly take over you. So if you put your eye, it would compel you to get the eye. And once you got the eye and put the eye in, you would Vecna would slowly start to possess you. And vice versa. If you started with the eye, it would make you look for the hand. And that was D&D lore. But I don't know, since 5E and Stranger Things and all this crap. Okay. I mean,
all right. So bad guy, horn, magic, bloody.
Yeah, this is not Vecna. This has nothing to do with him. Vecna was one guy in D&D lore.
And whatever is going on here. Okay, and looks like a lot of these things, whatever they are, and they have like some.
They're just some kind of undead things. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, okay, so we've got arrows.
Casting a shield spell.
This is the prior team. So there he's wearing the other suit. You see Chris Pine wearing the armor suit with the little crest on the shoulder. You see, actually, is that Hugh Grant? That is Hugh Grant. Okay, all right, it's coming together here. So, Chris Pine, the Bard, on a prior team with Hugh Grant on the team, and this girl that found the horn thing, Arrows Landing, and this was the bad gig. Okay, Deacon's back hurts. Sorry, Deacon. Grab your phone, walk around. Grab your phone, walk around. And then we got I don't know, some other action happening here through forest. There's the paladin, some stuff's happening. Little comedic line. You saw his mandolin there, some wide angle shots. They're captured. Oh,
pretty awesome. Yeah. That was
she got a awesome fire. She has a fire axe.
Yeah.
Coming
out of the forge.
And then she's doing she's doing the hard combat stuff. Boom. And fancy sword that turns into a knife, and there's our hat shot again. There was some sort of a floating drone thing, like a little blue ball. Very quick shot of it right there, whatever this is. And over the top, and then their little comedic scene, and there's our owl
bear. Yeah,
owl bear, and big old fight, throwing these folks around, and they're just watching. And then she jumps on the horse and turns back into her whatever she is, and then she uses her slingshot thing. What kind of dragon is that?
Hang on, let me look.
It's coming up. I'm going to pause it right there. So that's white and gold.
I started to say it could be gold or bronze. I would think gold would be a little more.
It actually looks like it's made out of rock.
It could be copper. Most of the dragons are metallic, even though there's a billion of them now, of a billion different every substance imaginable. But most of the dragons in D&D were metallic dragons, and some of them were evil and some of them were good. Gold and silver and the coppers and bronze, they were all mainly good dragons.
This thing looks like it's actually carved out of a statue, though. Like it's a statue that's moving around.
It very well could be it could be handmade, but I bet it's a gold or
a bronze or a copper dragon, which can be good, but they can have attitudes. Its wings really look like a hang on. Its wings really look like a copper dragon. Go back to that.
Yeah, I'm gonna catch it. There it is. It's got veins in it right there. Veins on the.
So here I'm going to. It looks like a copper dragon. I'm going to see if I can. My other screen is.
Oh yes. Do I need to? I don't think I need to share it. Oh, okay. Here, I'll put you up top for a moment.
So you see where the wings are?
Yeah.
Now throw that one back up.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Now throw that one back up. How his wings were.
So.
You see why it's kind of similar?
Kind of like bat wings a little bit. Kind of like bat wings, but then they have these veins in it. He's got a phone call. So this looks pretty fun. It looks like it's got humor, and it's got action. It's got humor for Normkins. It's got stuff that we would superficially recognize, but it also has like meat in there for D&D familiar people. All right, so we good to go, Deacon? You good? You're back on? Okay.
Yeah.
You're still, okay. Okay, cool. All right. So dragon door thing. Okay. So, so here's what happened in that scene. She went down from the forest into this room. So she cast some spell that gives her a room where she can go get stuff.
Well, that's like I said. It could, like Colin said, it could be a teleportation spell, but I really think that that's probably like a private sanctum spell. There's a spell called private sanctum. There's some druid spells, but the way that it transitioned was it would almost be like private sanctum or something like that. There's a couple of other ones, and I don't know what the name of the one is. But it just gives you a little private space in your own little space, and that doesn't look like the druid spell. That really looks like private sanctum or the sanctum or whatever it's called.
I'm guessing, but right here, I see like a painting, and over here is like some armor stuff. And it looks like she has a little magic room that she can go into and stuff all of the stuff she steals or whatever.
Okay. Here, let me read you what the spell does. Okay. You make private sanctum. You make an area within range. You make an area within range magically secure. So you make an area that's magically secure. This area is a cube that can be as small as 5 feet to as large as 100 feet on each side. The spell lasts for blah, 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 blah. When you cast the spell, blah, 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 blah. Sound can't pass through the barrier, blah, 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 blah. So basically, it's telling you all the different things that you can do. So that's basically what she's done.
But
I would guess that she's casting private sanctum. It's a fourth level spell.
Would you be able to reuse that space?
Yeah, yeah.
Because in the story here, I'm thinking that they encounter something and they have to fight something, and she says, "Hold on, I'll be right back," and goes into her little room and gets something that turns her into an owlbear and comes back and then does the.
Okay, then that's what she's done. Except, right here. This is what I thought. Casting this spell on the same spot every day for a year makes this effect permanent.
Oh, okay. So she has made herself but can you, then how do you get back to it? Okay, well, anyway.
You can come out of it.
Yeah, but can you open your spot to your permanent space somewhere else? Like if you can go somewhere else and get into your permanent space.
Me and my buddy actually had let me pull up my other Discord server here and I'll tell you how we got around that. Because me and my buddy figured that out already. This is how nerdy we get. So I had private sanctum, but I also had, what was the other spell? I don't remember what the other spell was now.
There was another spell that I could. Yeah, we're going 2 hours and we're talking about D&D stuff.
Yeah, so let's. I don't
remember what it was, but there was a way. I mean, if we just let's finish this because
So
I need to stand up and go eat.
They got lanterns. I think this movie looks super fun. There's some dude with a green fire sword, and he looks like a bad guy with like some thin carved on his head. Big old paladin fight, and they're all just watching him do fighting. And then there's your reshot of your. So you got a labyrinth emerging out of nowhere, and there's Hugh Grant, the prior member of Chris Pine's old team. So this guy, they were on a mission together. It went bad, and now Hugh Grant is, I believe, the antagonist of this movie. There's your box with a tongue in it. So anyway,
the mimic. That's a mimic. And then that's that's some sort of huge, big ass red dragon.
So if you see here on the left side of the incline, this thing is tilted to floor, and now whoever this is sliding down and it's going to gobble them up. And our action shot is the paladin leaping through the air, presumably going to stab it in the head with the sword.
So, which really looks like the cover of any Dungeons and Dragons book.
It really does. It does. It does. All right, so Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves. I was so excited to be like, Deacon, look at this. So
dude, that was pretty awesome.
I hope that was fun, and I look forward to more fun content.
I got to meet one of the more famous Dungeons and Dragons artists. And he came to Marshall County. He's actually he's become friends with a buddy of mine. And my buddy brought him to Marshall County to do this art demonstration. And let me see if I can pull up some of this stuff. And he's drawn a lot of the player's handbook for back in the day.
All right, so I don't have it on hand, but here's the thing that I know that you don't know.
Yeah, we'll find it later. Yeah.
Whatever. And then we'll cut out of here. So the thing that is the thing that's most important about Dungeons and Dragons to me is that I remember watching every Saturday morning the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon, and I know you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon had and I can't remember the names of the characters, but there was like there was a guy with the bow and arrow.
I don't remember the bow and arrow guy's name. There was Bobby, the barbarian. Oh, let's see who you remember.
There was Cavalier. What is it? Cavalier? Yeah. Is that I remember that. And
which was it was a class that's no longer even around anymore.
So unfortunately, so much.
So who was the ranger? The ranger was
a ranger.
Hank, who did the bow and arrow, and then you said Cavalier. Cavalier was Eric the Cavalier.
And there was a magician or
Presto,
right? And so this cartoon was like, I watched it all of the time. And it's not on here. So I'm trying to find the story, but apparently during the dramatic description of the trailer or when they covered the footage or whatever, something they haven't released to the public, but it was only on SDCDC floor. So when they go into that labyrinth in the movie that we haven't seen yet, when they go into the labyrinth, the Chris Pine team is not the only team that's going into the labyrinth. There's other teams that are all competing at the same time. One of the other teams appears to be an incarnation of the Dungeons and Dragons 1983 cartoon team with a Cavalier and a Ranger and the magician Presto. So not only is this movie fun and action, adventure, whatever, but they got a little Easter egg in there with the cartoon cast in the
That's really awesome.
Yeah, no. So I am like that. That's the thing that like gets me. I'm like, oh yes, make me a kid again. I want to just see them, and they're probably going to get killed or something.
And I'd forgotten about it until I was just sitting here looking. We were naming all those the old D&D characters. Remember Venger and Tiamat and what was the other? What was the bad guy's name? The other one with the blue helmet.
I don't know what you mean. What do you mean?
The bad guy. Never mind. Do you remember Venger?
Oh yes, Venger. Okay, are we talking about the cartoon?
The cartoon, Venger in the cartoon.
Yes, and there was like an that would show up sometimes, and he would be like, ha, 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 this is good.
Warduke. Warduke was the other one's name. Yeah. Warduke. And then Tiamat the dragon, they were voiced by...
Go on.
Well, Venger was Peter Cullen, and Tiamat was Frank Welker. And Peter Cullen was Optimus Prime, and Frank Welker was Megatron.
Yeah, Frank. I mean, they
did a million other voices,
voices,
yeah.
So
Frank Welker was also Fred from Scooby Doo. I mean,
So Briefcase Joe says Warduke. I don't remember which character that is.
Yeah, Warduke was he had a blue helmet with fins, and he was awesome. Yeah, Warduke.
So yeah, this is the cast of the Dungeons and Dragons that I remember. So these guys, it's
always wondered why they never redid that. It's the popularity. See, the Dungeons and Dragons went through several phases, and it got bought by Wizards of the Coast. Gosh, I don't know. It's been a while now. And sorry,
okay,
I'm trying to.
This little guy right here.
But they once they got bought by Wizards of the Coast tried to up them and give them a little press, and it didn't do so well. And then 5th edition came out, and they took all of the complicated rules and they kind of simplified it, and it just got more people interested. And then what happened was these voice actors all got together and were like, hey, let's do a D&D mission, and let's voice it and record it and put it online. And they did, and it became a huge hit. It's called Critical Role. ROLE.
Yeah, I've never watched that, but I've heard about Critical Role.
All it is a bunch of voice actor guys, professional voice actors that got together and did their D&D stuff, and it's hilarious. Cool. And I mean, if you've got a bunch of guys that will actually play, you can see me I didn't realize I forgot. This is what I do. I pace around when I'm talking. My back's killing me.
All right.
So these voice guys, that's what I do. My character, Son, talks like this right here. So when I talk like Son, this is how he talks. So so that's how and some people don't, and that's cool. We don't force you to act, but it makes it more fun, I think.
Well,
so once that got huge, it took off. I mean, they realized this was a multi-million-dollar machine that they had here off the bat, just screwing around. So if you go to Prime and type in
Critical
Role. It's called Deus Machina. No, it's not Deus Machina. It's Vox Machina. VOX. Vox Machina. And it's a cartoon that they made from their missions on Critical Role. It's voiced by those people that did that. It's really good, and it is not for children.
Oh.
Absolutely not for children.
I see it here. I see.
But Voice Machine. It's the Adventures of the Voice Machine. They're voice actors, and it's really true to a D&D mission for me, other than all of the sexual references, because that was just one thing that if we had somebody that would come into the group that would start wanting to do sexual stuff all the time, we would either ask them to leave or they would make it to where they couldn't.
Right.
I think we would do something to piss them off.
This Vox Machina thing is on Amazon Prime, and it's got 4.5 stars, 4,800 reviews, and it is marked for 18 and up adults. So don't watch that with your kids.
Yeah, no, do not watch it.
But otherwise, I guess check it out. All right, I had a great time. 2 hours, super long show.
Wow,
we went way off the rails, and I hope that there's some more interesting stuff to come out of SDCC. If there is this weekend, I might for this weekend only, I might hit you up and see if you want to do any other thing to talk about in the news. Otherwise, we'll talk about it Monday morning. I do want to remind everybody, thank you for showing up this morning, guys. Monday through Friday, weekdays at 6:30 in the morning for usually an hour. Deacon and I are your two dads talking about news, pop culture, coffee, politics, whatever. And on Sundays at 2 p.m., you are invited to join me and let's draw. So this weekend, I am working on a trading card for Art Thiebert's. Yes, Art Thiebert's Black and White Volume 2 campaign. Currently, description for that campaign is in the show notes, and so I'll be working on a picture this weekend on Sunday. Otherwise, we will see you guys Monday morning, and we will talk more SDCC stuff. But if you haven't already, please hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment on the video, and we might have a drop-in show to talk about more news if Deacon and I both find something that, like, oh yeah, let's just do a drop-in and talk about something. We'll have to see. We don't know what's going to come up. I will be watching the news, and last thing, guys. If you find stories in the news and you want us to talk about, send them to me. You can send them to me on Twitter, or you can send them to me, leave a comment on the video here, or like just however. If you probably know where the Discord server is, you can send us a message there. And you find something cool in the news you want us to look at, throw it at us, and we will talk about it. And in the future, we'll probably have guests on and let other people opine as well. Anything else this morning, Deacon?
I'm good.
I gotta go call my wife, let my dog out, get ready to go to work. It has been a long show, but we appreciate it. Thank you guys, everybody. Goodbye.